Hey everybody, it's Josh McKinney, and I am back to do another round breakdown. I've done match breakdowns before. Everybody seemed to really like them, but except for this commenter right here. But besides that, I really never done a breakdown of just a typical round at my gym. And so, how I like to break things down and how I think they make a lot more sense for people is instead of just throwing a bunch of, oh, I wanted this technique, I wanted that technique, I'm going to highlight a specific concept and just point it out throughout the round and show you guys how valuable this one concept is. And so, this concept, this idea that we're going to look at in this round is going to be distance. A lot of people know me for my teaching of the idea of chest over chest. And all chest over chest is a good understanding of distance in a round of jiu-jitsu or in a match of jiu-jitsu. And so today I'm going to be training with one of my purple belts, Erik. He's just coming off of doing the ADCC trials. He's in good shape. He is a very good no-gi guy. Let's not ramble. Let's just go ahead and get into this round that I had with my student, Erik. All right, so we'll start this round. Something that's going to be really, really evident here is how much, and this is all we're going to talk about on this, and I'll kind of explain it throughout, is how much the trap space matters in a round of jiu-jitsu. And I think that so often it is overlooked because we usually are wearing gis, and a gi, if you grab a lapel, you automatically control somebody's trap. And like I said, we'll really get a deep understanding of what we're talking about here. But if you watch in this round, you are going to see constant fighting for the trap space. Notice both hands, that's what I'm fighting for, but also notice what Erik is doing as the bottom player. He's doing everything you should be doing. He is keeping frames on my hips and eventually my shoulders. And the reason he does that, the reason we frame as the bottom player, is to maintain distance. He wants me to stay at chest over hips. That's where he is going to get a lot of his attacks. I want to eventually get my chest a couple inches up this way and end up where we would call chest over chest. And so as you watch, Erik's doing a good job of framing my big joints, keeping me away. There's a frame on my hip, frame on my shoulder, another frame pummels in, and I'm trying to lean over chest over chest. And the real goal of chest over chest is to flatten him so I can put my weight on him. And what does Erik do a good job of? He stays on his side here. Now, this second entry, I got tired of that frame on my neck. That was just too good of a frame it was keeping me out of distance. And even when I was leaning with my upper body, it was letting him stay on his side. So this time I hand fight a little bit differently and try to enter a little bit differently. I think I look for a back step here. Again, going for that trap, missed it. Now this time I'm able to start to kind of win that distance that I wanted to win. We're back to the traps. We're keeping him from escaping, and now we're starting to get chest over chest here. Notice my other hand fights underneath here, my right hand, and that pushes his frames off my hips, and now I'm able to pull myself to him chest over chest, and I'm able to start the process of flattening, but he knows that's what I want, and he's going to fight really hard to get to his side. He does a really good job of it. When he does that, I run into two options as the top player. I can try to run him flat somehow. Maybe I run my left leg to his hip and try to run him flat that way. Maybe I take this left arm off and reach and grab his shoulder and try to cross face him something to flatten him. Or I can look to flatten him from mount, okay? And so that's what I'm going to do this time, because if you can't really see it here, but this top leg is actually flat. I think maybe if I scroll ahead just a little, you'll see it. It's actually nice and low, and this allows me to throw a leg over both, okay? I'm just past his knee line, so I don't really have much worry of him like bridging the other way, because when he does, what does it do? He flattens himself for me to defend that mount position, right? Because I needed to flatten him. If we go back just a second, I needed to flatten him here, and he stopped me from flattening him. So I start to threaten mount instead, and his defense is going to be to try to get me in half guard. But if you notice, I pulled this leg underneath this bottom leg, and so now half guard is not an option for him. he needs to kind of turn away from here. And so that is going to allow me to flatten. Notice we're right on that trap space with my left arm. My bicep is touching his trap. And what that does is it prevents the bottom player from scooting north, okay? Or top player when somebody's holding on to it. It just keeps you from going towards your head and creating distance that way. And that's what most of the time we're doing in guard is just creating distance and trying to get the perfect angle for ourselves, right? And so now here, I've got a good head and arm choke here. I don't rush it. There's really no reason to. We're very early in the round, and I think being efficient is always ideal here. And so just being really flat with my chest, trying to be heavy on him here. And so now he even said something like, man, I could feel you almost squeezing, but you weren't fully squeezing here, okay? So now I'm hand fighting a little bit. Right here, Erik actually is going to put me in a really bad spot. I pummel a little bit incorrectly. Right here was his shot to pass me, okay? If you notice, I have 0 frames on his big joints, right? No shoulders, no hips. He is splitting my legs. I messed up a long time ago, right? Really, the only fight I have is going to be my left arm. And it's ready to frame, but notice where it goes to. Frames on that shoulder, gets right back to distance. And I'm like, oh gosh, I better create something different. I better start to sit up and play this position. He steps over. All that happens here, the reason I'm able to turn so easily is I keep him out of my armpit space on both sides. My hands just drop. You can't see it, but I actually go double palm up, but on my upper thighs. And so what that does is it prevents him, like his job is to keep me from spinning when he's taking my back or keep me from creating distance. I can't create distance, but I could spin. And that allows me to start to get out of this position. Notice this time, as soon as I come up on the sweep, I will pop right up and be ready to attack, ready to try to win my distance. So this time I'm going to keep him off of my big joints, and that allows me to just step right back into this kind of same threat. But this time, instead of choosing to fall back to mount like he did last time, he chooses to belly down, okay? So this is what I was saying. We're going to highlight this distance, even on all fours, how important just touching his trap is going to be for me. So you'll notice as I'm on top here, I am either going to be using an arm to hold on to his trap to keep him from just standing straight up, or I'm going to use my chin and occupy the space over his trap. I don't actually have to hook his trap with my chin. I just need to keep my correct distance. And you'll notice, so either my arm or my head is going to be right above that trap space, and it's going to make it very hard for him to do anything but take a lot of my pressure here, right? And just take a lot of my weight here. And so we're right back. Chin is over trap again, and I'm just trying to stay heavy on him in this position. Now fighting back to the trap here. He's doing a good job of hand fighting, but chin over trap again. And all I'm doing is he's trying to sit up here. Notice how his sit up was in slow motion. It's because I'm at the right distance, okay? If my head is 2 inches back, if we're here, I'll show you right here. If my head, which a lot of people, you'll notice when they're holding the back, is just right in this area. If it's 2 inches back, it is he's going to be able to get tall and start to create a scramble like right here when I start to look for the back. Right here, chin is over trap on this side. And so now notice how slow his posture is. Chin is over trap again. He's going to go to posture, and it's like in slow motion, and it lets me throw that hook in very easily. And here, I'm just trying to keep weight on him. I think he does a good job of staying out of being flattened here. I can't remember for sure. Yep, he gets back to all fours. Here, honestly, kind of a mistake of weight distribution here. But I got back to where I wanted to be, back to chin over trap. This time, I get a little weird arm trap here, but it was kind of more of just looking for something and just kind of catching it. It's not really the way I usually would trap the arm with my legs. So from here, back to threatening. Again, I'm keeping an arm over his trap just to keep him from scooting away. And if you notice, when we go to choke, I have a video of me and Jeff choking each other a bunch. Oh man, that's brutal. But when we go to choke, this is, I mean, that's the screenshot. That's the thumbnail right there, isn't it? When we're going to choke, notice how I have to be in contact with both of his traps. And so just scoot this back just an inch. And so show this little hand fight here, right here, okay? If I go to squeeze and go to try to fight here, there's just no way that I'm going to be able to finish this. I need to get my arm all the way across, and I need to be touching both of his traps. I need him to basically sit there while I try to choke him. And so as I dig this under, now that I have this contact on both traps to finish this one-arm choke, the reason it's a one-arm choke is because I have his arm trapped with both legs, and then I have his other arm trapped with my arm. So basically we get this, this is the reason for trapping an arm with your legs, is you take the hand fight from being 2-on-2, and then you make it 1-on-none. He doesn't have a hand to fight with, and I can just keep digging that arm in until eventually I get the finish. But once I can touch his shoulder, my hand will hook, and I will pinch my elbow, I always say elbow to pocket, but it's probably more elbow to ribs. And I'll also puff my chest out here. The reason I can puff my chest, remember, this chin was occupying that trap space. But now once my hand is through, I don't need my chin occupying that trap space again. I'm not worried about him scooting north because I'm touching his trap. And so there, I can start to puff my chest out. I can lose my distance a little bit, but still finish that choke. Here, not much time left in the round. I kind of see that, kind of seeing where we can get going. I actually make a critical mistake here again. Two bad mistakes from the guard here. Been playing too much running man. So here, he's going to start to go around. I am cool. I'm always cool with turning away, especially in no-gi. I like to try to turn that into a wrestle. But here is the mistake I made right there. I shouldn't have popped up to my elbow when I was trying this running man. I should have just kept my elbow tucked and ran away flat. I don't know why. I don't know why I did that. I might have been looking for something else, and he just kind of beat me on the angle really bad. But notice he wins this space this time. Remember last time I was able to just turn towards him very easily? Well, I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. I'm going to have to create a much different position here to escape. And so here I'm looking to fall over, knock him off of me, and what do I try to free, right? Obviously, he is in my armpit. That's elbow knee space. That's the death sentence, right? But what keeps me in that position where he has my armpit is him holding on to my trap. When I free that, it's going to let me start to create distance, and now we're back up. Now again, we're absorbing distance. I'm trying to stay chest over chest here, trying to flatten here. Oh no, he put that arm across. I think it's going to put him in a, oh yeah, put him in danger. Had a funny feeling, mainly because I've watched this video and I lived this round. But this forearm across, I'm going to try. This becomes his only frame in a second. This knee should be framing me away, and it just doesn't. Right? He just kind of lets me smash it. And so this forearm is going to be the last frame that I'm going to have to deal with to get to mount. And if you watch my right hand, it's hard to see, but my right hand is just going to bump his elbow and push it to the other side of my head. Oh no. And now we're in head and arm choke again. Same idea. I'm going to try to just finish by flattening, by melting on him here without stepping over to side control. I know that there's only a couple seconds left in the round, but good pressure. Able to finish. Definitely had to squeeze harder on that one. But that is our full round, really with looking at that idea of distance. And so that was the round. That was me just doing a little breakdown of fighting for distance as the top player. I think it would be a fun breakdown to do maybe with a different student or a different one of my guys, and maybe do a round in the gi and us highlight distance. Hopefully this conceptual breakdown was fun for you guys. If you guys like it, if I know this is very unique, you don't really see any breakdowns that are like this on YouTube, and so anytime you do something like that, it can fall flat or it can be good. And so if you guys enjoy that, please let me know in the comments. Give me a like or a comment, and just give me something to know that you guys liked me breaking down match footage, and not just that, but me breaking it down in this conceptual approach. And I think that hopefully it will be helpful for you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great day.